Hi mathematicians, this is an instructional video on solving two-step equations. So in this instructional video, I'll show you how to solve two-step equations and verify your solution, which will help you determine if you got the answer right, and it'll also help you score 4 on our rubric. All right, grab your notebook and a pen or a pencil, and let's take some notes. All right, you guys, let's write down the steps to solving an equation in your notebook. All right, so take a second to write step number 1. Use inverse operations to isolate the variable. Remember, inverse operations are opposite operations. So for example, addition is the opposite of subtraction. So that means addition and subtraction are inverse operations of each other. Multiplication and division are opposite operations. So that means multiplication and division are inverse operations because they undo each other. Go ahead and press pause and make sure you get step number 1 written into your notebook. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's step 2 coming at you. Step 2 means you need to show all your work. So what you do to one side of the equation, you absolutely positively must beyond a shadow of a doubt do to the other side of the equation. So take a second and press pause in your video to write down all of step number 2. Okay, last step, verify your solution. This step will tell you if you got the equation correct or not. So to verify, the first thing you need to do is to write the original equation. And then you need to substitute your solution in for the variable. And then from there, you're going to use your order of operations to simplify your equation. So take a second, pause the video, and jot step number 3 into your notes. All right, guys, here's our first example. So in your notebook, jot down 2x minus 1 equals 5. All right, the first thing I like to do is draw in these little lines here. They help me keep the equal sign lined up, so then I know what work I'm doing on the left side of the equal sign and what work I'm doing on the right side of the equal sign. I'm going to encourage you to draw those lines as well. Okay, first thing I need to do now when I want to start solving my equation is to find the variable. And the variable is the letter. So here I can see the letter is attached to 2. So we have 2x minus 1. So I want to keep 2x there. I want to get rid of minus 1. So I'm going to use the inverse operation of subtraction, which means I need to add. So the opposite of minus 1 is add 1. And what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So I write plus 1 on both sides. And what that means is my 1's here cancel, and I'm left with 2 x's on the left. So I need to rewrite my equation and balance it and say 2x equals 5 plus 1, which is 6. All right, now the operation between 2 and x is multiplication. So 2x means 2 times x. So to get rid of times or multiply, I have to divide both sides by 2. So what that means is my 2's are going to cancel here, leaving me with x equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I think right now the answer is 3. To confirm that and verify, I need to verify my solution. So what I need to do is write down the original equation, 2x minus 1 equals 5. So must write down the original equation. And wherever I see an x, I'm going to substitute a 3. So I'm going to rewrite 2 times 3 minus 1 equals 5. Now I'm going to use my order of operations. You guys remember that's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. Some of you guys know it as PEMDAS. So what that means is I need to do parentheses or exponents first. I don't have any of those. So I'm going to start with multiplication. 2 times 3 is 6 minus 1 equals 5. All right, after multiplication, the only operation that's left is subtraction. So 6 minus 1 is 5 equals 5. That's a good thing. If I get 5 equals 5, that tells me my solution of 3 is the correct answer. So that's my answer, and that's how I verify. In order to score a 4 on your summative assessment, you'll need to show all of this work. All right, you guys, here's our second example. Write down 15 equals negative 3x minus 6 in your notebook. All right, first thing, let's draw in those lines. The next thing I like to do is find my variable. Remember, that's the letter. And in this case, it's attached to negative 3. So I need to use inverse operations to get rid of minus 6. So to get rid of minus or subtract, I need to add 6 to both sides. 15 plus 6 is 21 equals, my 6's cancel there, negative 3x. All right, so now to get rid of negative 3 times x, I'm going to need to divide both sides by negative 3. 21 divided by negative 3 is negative 7 equals, on this side my negative 3's cancel, so I'm left with x. So right now I think my solution is negative 7. All right, you guys, what I want you to do right now is pause the video and do your verification step in your notebook. And then we'll compare answers after you press play. So go ahead, press pause, and verify. All right, you guys, compare your verification process to mine. So the first step right here is to write the original equation. Then I substituted in negative 7. Then I used my order of operations to multiply. And I got 21 minus 6. And then from there, 21 minus 6 is 15. So I got 15 equals 15. That's good. So because I got that, that means my solution, negative 7, is correct. If I were to have gotten like 15 equals 20, those two numbers don't equal each other. That means the number I substituted in for x is not the solution. All right, you guys, here's our last example for the video. Go ahead and jot in your notebook, negative 4 minus 7x equals negative 39. All right, you guys know by now my first step is to draw in those lines to keep my left and right side of my equal balanced and separated. All right, then I like to look for my variable, which in this case is negative 7. Do you guys see that? Remember, with my rules of integers, I can change that subtraction to add the opposite, so that's really a negative 7x. So right now what I want to get rid of is this minus 4. So to do that, I need to add 4 to both sides. Okay, so what that means is my negative, or my 4's cancel, leaving me with negative 7x equals negative 35. All right, so now I need to undo multiplication, negative 7 times x. So to do that, I divide both sides by negative 7, and I get x equals 5. Positive 5, because remember, negative divided by negative, negative divided by negative there is positive. So this is what I think the answer is. All right, let's do the same thing. Pause your video, verify your answer, and then we'll compare when you're done verifying. All right, you guys, check your work with mine. The first step, you need to have your original equation. All right, you guys, so you have to have the original equation. Okay, so you have that in the first step. Then I substituted in 5. And check this out. Here's a common mistake that people make. This is a negative 7. So negative 7 times 5 will give me negative 35. All right, so negative 4 plus negative 35 is negative 39 equals negative 39. So that means my solution is correct. So when you're solving two-step equations or any equations, don't forget you have to remember your rules of integers. All right, you guys, you know the drill. Go to the note guide, complete the checkpoint questions, check in with your teacher, and then hopefully you'll have earned your homework for today. If not, you might have some fixes to make, but you'll get it eventually. All right, mathematicians, good luck.